You know how people say you should marry your best friend? That's true. Katie and I started out as amazing friends. We loved to party, leave early, go home, where we more than likely fell in love through a cloud of smoke. If you know, you know.
You know, you know.
When Jake and Katie first started seeing each other, they kept it very low-key. Jake had mentioned that they were talking, but not much else. One afternoon, I got a message from Katie, out of the blue, saying, "Hey, do you want to come over and bake cookies?" I turned to our mate Josh and said, "What do you reckon this is about?" Keeping in mind we were somewhat herbal enthusiasts back then, so critical thinking wasn't exactly our strong suit. We shrugged and said, "Yeah, why not?" Not long after, Jake messaged me and said, "Are you going to Katie's?" And that's when it clicked. It was a soft launch.
How incredible has it been here in Tasmania?
What a journey we've all made to the fabulous island of Tasmania.
This place was originally built by the convicts in 1820s. It's got a beautiful rustic charm, a great history of being a mental asylum. So it's the perfect reflection of Katie and Jake's individual personalities. But hopefully there will be no straitjackets or padded cells required today. So everybody, just behave yourself.
Mum, thank you for your lifelong support. You know, it was pretty touch and go for a few years there, and I'm pretty certain you'd given up hope.
By the way, I do have a recent Mother's Day card in my bag which I've forgotten to bring up with me that reads, "I'm not on meth or deads." I'm not on meth or deads. And in spite of my stories of your childhood and the mind-boggling escapades you got up to later in life that made you without doubt the hardest of my 3 kids to keep alive, today at last you're ready to be a marvellous husband.
I can't thank you enough for single-handedly bringing us to the other side of the world. Without you, this day would never have happened, and I'd probably be in jail.
And Jake, mate, well, you've truly outdone yourself. I honestly thought you were going to prison as well.
Times that we thought the lovely Jake might not have made it out of the departure lounge, as my dad would call it. Jake met Katie for the first time. He was the designated driver for a trip to Mandurah. Her hair was a shade of green and she was sporting an undercut, so you can see why he was immediately intrigued.
What's funny is that when I was writing this, the same words I thought I'd use to describe Jake, I'd use for Katie too. The both of you are fiercely loyal, incredibly generous and caring with big hearts, and you're absolute weapons on the piss. High octane, yes, but boring, never.
Jake, you've made me laugh more times than I can count, supported me through all my meltdowns and menti bees. I should have known you were the one when you started talking for the dogs like they were real people. I promise to always appreciate the way you love me. So deeply, so completely, and in a way that makes me feel like I'm the luckiest girl alive. You make everything feel right.
Katie, from the moment I met you, I knew you were something special. Writing this, I remember our first trip to Tasmania, when we got engaged, losing track of time after I popped the question, a little too excited, far too pissed. I remember the silence of fear, driving on the off-road track in Bruny Island, with our hearts racing, all the while feeling more connected to you than ever. Or how we belly laughed in Launceston, dancing to Creedence Clearwater Revival, after a few bottles of wine and a few funny cigarettes. Those moments filled with fun, laughter, a bit of danger, remind me of the unique and beautiful bond that we share.
And as we step into the future together, I promise that no matter what's ahead, whether we're living our best lives, frolicking around Tassie, eating and drinking, or stuck in bed rotting after questionable decisions the night before, I'll be right there with you. I can't wait for all the good times, the dumb moments, the inevitable chaos, because as long as we're together, I know it'll all be worth it.
Being a sister is a special kind of magic, and being one of 3 sisters is a special kind of chaos. Just stand up here today and get to watch as my darling sister gets to marry the love of her life and beat me down the aisle is an honour and a privilege I certainly don't take for granted. And I hope you know how proud we are of you.
Jake's brought a sense of adventure and stability into Katie's life. He's encouraged her to be her amazing self, and we are so grateful to have him as part of our family. It is so nice to see they love each other so much. They are a perfect match.
Dave, you finally have a son. Might not be the best one on the market, but I'm the only one you've got for now.
Our beautiful Katie, you've been an integral part of our little Keats clan for some time. I remember our first meeting at home.
Deep breath, deep breath.
And I saw how smitten my son was with you from day one. And I had an inkling this day would come.
I want to say how much today means to me, not because I get to drink shitloads of cider, but because today marks the beginning of an adventure with somebody I adore. And to all of our friends, thank you for being here. Your support, laughter, and the general chaos that you all bring to our lives is truly appreciated most of the time. Here's to a lifetime of laughter, love, and a million more pints of cider. Everyone, raise your glass for my stunning wife, the incredible Katie Keats.